guys, welcome back to my channel. St. Patrick's Day is only a few days away, and every year I like to make some Irish themed food. This year I'm making an Irish apple cake.
This is a perfectly spiced cake loaded with Granny Smith apples, topped off with a streusel and custard.
I am really excited to make this cake. I love custard, I love streusel, I love cake. So let's go ahead and get started.
Our ingredient list includes flour, sugar, brown sugar, baking powder, salt, cinnamon, nutmeg, milk, heavy cream, butter, eggs, vanilla extract, and Granny Smith apples. The first thing we need to start on is our custard because it needs time in the fridge. So fill a medium-sized bowl with ice water. Set this aside. In a medium-sized saucepan, add your milk and heavy cream. Let that slowly heat up. In the meantime, we are going to separate 2 egg yolks and place them in a medium-sized bowl. Next, add in your sugar and salt. Guys, if you've never made a custard before, don't be nervous. It's really quite easy. Whisk it together until it resembles a yellowish paste. Over medium heat, our milk and heavy cream mixture is starting to steam, so we're going to take it off and slowly add it to our egg mixture. I added just a little bit, whisked it up really quickly, and then I added the rest very slowly. I didn't want scrambled eggs. That's why you're supposed to add it very slow and whisk very fast. The custard is optional in this recipe, but I think it really adds to the cake. Add your custard mixture back into the saucepan over a low-medium heat. We're going to cook this for about 10 minutes, stirring constantly until it starts to coat the back of your wooden spatula. The final step for the custard is straining it through a fine mesh sieve, and then we're going to take that bowl and add it to our ice water. I stirred this until the temperature of the custard mixture really went down because we want to add our vanilla extract and you don't want to cook that. Cover your bowl with plastic wrap and pop it in the fridge for at least 3 hours. Now we can start on the cake. Add your flour to a medium-sized bowl.
I'm gonna eat it. Maybe, we'll see.
My kids love to visit me in the kitchen. I added the baking powder, salt, cinnamon, and nutmeg to the flour. Whisk this together until it's completely incorporated. Next, we're going to cut our butter into our flour mixture. You want your butter to be pretty cold for this because when you cut it in, you want it to resemble coarse little crumbs. Also, feel free to use your hands for this part. I like to use my pastry cutter. Add in your white sugar, stir this with a spoon until it's mixed together. Set this aside, and our next step is working on our Granny Smith apples. I am finely dicing our apples because you want them to be tiny chunks throughout the entire cake. First off, I slice them into quarters and then I slice them into quite thin slices. Then I chopped it up from here into small dice-sized pieces. I had some leftover apples for my kids because we only need 2 cups to add to our flour mixture. Toss the apples in the flour mixture until they're all coated, set it aside, and in a large bowl we're adding our eggs, milk, and vanilla extract. Mix all of your wet ingredients together, add your dry to your wet, and fold it in. This is going to be a very thick batter because this is a very dense cake. I am using an 8-inch cake pan. I need some parchment paper to put on the bottom. After cutting out the parchment paper, I sprayed down my pan, put the parchment paper in, and sprayed it down again just to be safe. Next, add in your cake batter to your cake pan. Make sure you level the top. You don't want it to be uneven, one side taller than the other. The very last component we will be making is our streusel, so add your flour, brown sugar, and salt to a small bowl. Stir this around with a fork until it's mixed together, and then add in your melted and cooled off butter. Stir it around. It's going to resemble a clumpy, brown sugary paste that's perfect. Break your streusel up using your hands all over the top of your cake. I used up all of the streusel. Try not to snack on it though because it tastes really good. Bake your cake at 350 degrees for 50 to 55 minutes. After our timer went off, the cake looked and smelled amazing. I used a toothpick to make sure it was cooked through. After 15 minutes, I loosened up the edges and it popped right out, no problem. This cake smells so good. It smells like butter, apples, toffee, cinnamon, all of it. It just smells delicious. I don't know why I've never heard of an Irish apple cake before, but I'm glad I found out a few weeks ago. This is my take on an Irish apple cake. This is a very moist cake. The apples were evenly distributed throughout the entire thing. We have our custard. Let's pour that over the top.
This looks way better than the first time I made this. I put way too many apples in it the first time and it just looked like mush. It smells like apples and cinnamon. Let's see how it tastes. Let's get a little custard on it. My husband is really gonna love this. A lot more dense than normal cakes. It reminds me kind of like a coffee cake texture, especially with the crunchy streusel on top. The apples are tart. You can taste them. They stand out in the cake, so it brightens up the cake. And the custard adds this smooth vanilla warmness that just brings it all together. I hope you guys try out this recipe for St. Patty's Day. Don't forget to tell your friends where you got the recipe. Thanks so much, guys, for watching this video, and I will see you soon.
It tastes good. I taste good. It's good.
Yeah, you like it with the cream?